Looks as though Buy Canada applies to ETFs as well. Investors have been pouring money into exchange-traded funds focused on Canadian stocks, with this sentiment to shop domestically growing amid, of course, indignation over Trump's tariffs and threats to take over the country. Let's get more from Valerie Grimba, Director, Global ETF Strategy at RBC Capital Markets. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
And this is the theme you touched on when you last joined us, that Canadian, European ETF investors are shopping at home.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a very market shift. Listen, last year was all about owning U.S. beta exposure. There was this market cap bias. You owned the Mag 7, and as long as you had that in your portfolio, you were good to go. We've seen a market shift now. U.S. ETF flows have dropped off a cliff, and investors are shopping, like you said, domestically here in Canada. And amidst all this volatility, we've actually seen this big push of buying Canadian equity ETFs despite kind of market turmoil.
And it is predominantly equity ETFs, not so much fixed income?
Fixed income as well. We actually, March was a record record month for fixed income ETF flows. But again, the bias has been towards owning Canadian fixed income products, not so much the US.
Is with the equity ETFs, is it simply index funds, or are people going for these covered call ETFs, for example?
It has been kind of a more bias towards beta exposure here. I think that talks to the market.
Sorry, Valerie, what do you mean beta exposure?
Yeah, like index.
Okay,
so kind of TSX 60. There has been some particular interest in the sector side of things. So ZEB, that's Canadian banks, or XEG, Canadian energy, and XGD, which is Canadian gold miners. So there has been kind of specific sector interest as well, but not so much on the covered call side as of late.
That's interesting. I suppose people, when they're feeling bullish, tend to go for the non-covered call option.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I think it's hard to say, but I think just in periods of like uncertainty,
yes,
I just kind of want to go back to where there's a bit of safety, and that's knowing I'm kind of matching a benchmark.
What about, just to switch to balanced ETFs,
yes.
Is that even a big product category right now?
Yeah, actually, we've seen continued demand in kind of these all-in-one solutions. Okay. And so there's the balanced portfolio, there is the all-equity portfolio, and these continue to be these kind of steady Eddie grinders that just continue to see inflows, and I think that's a reflection of growing interest in the self-directed space and then using these ETFs as a one-ticker solution.
And so just remind us, you guys at RBC, you market the iShares ETFs?
We do all of them. We make markets on all ETFs.
Right, but you have a link up with iShares.
RBC Global Asset Management, it has an alliance with iShares.
Right,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so who are the big players in bank ETFs? We know BMO is huge. RBC, of course, it's big in everything.
Yes.
Who else has a big family of ETFs among the banks?
Yeah, so iShares RBC is the largest ETF provider collectively in Canada. BMO is second. The two of them almost have 50% of all Canadian ETF assets are almost within those two providers. Then below that, we have Vanguard. I think Global X is next. And so it kind of rounds out a full suite of products.
And it is fascinating. The ETFs, though, I know it's hard to generalize, but are they still largely a retail product, or institutions use them for hedging, I guess, in some cases?
Yeah, institutions use them, and I've seen massive use of ETFs during this period of market volatility. The last 2 weeks, ETF volumes shot up. They were over 40% of U.S. equity volumes kind of at the end of last week. Impressive. And they really are there to act as this pressure valve in the system. So we've had this heightened volatility, and ETFs can act as this big liquidity pool that can absorb these shocks. And I think they've really proven their mettle and why they're so valuable in the overall market.
What about Chinese ETFs? Apparently, the regime has been suggesting to state entities you should put money into ETFs.
Yes, we've seen massive inflows into domestic, so that's Chinese-listed Chinese ETFs, and we've seen inflows across this suite of ETFs that are typically known for the kind of Chinese government buying. There has been some interesting shifts between U.S. investors and Canadian investors on the topic. U.S. investors were shedding Chinese exposure last week amidst the tariff turmoil, and we saw massive outflows in FXI, which is China all cap, and KWEB, which is Chinese technology ETFs. However, in Canada, we saw notable inflows into the Canadian-listed Chinese ETFs. So perhaps Canadian investors are trying to find a bottom here and be a bit more opportunistic.
That's interesting. What's a big Chinese ETF listed in Canada?
I think the ticker is CHNB, and it's a CI ETF.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we have the chart, but I'll try and get that in the system if we don't. So it's fascinating. What patterns are you seeing now? You've touched on some, but in this period of really fear, we don't know how radical American economic policy is going to be. Proceeding with tariffs despite economic damage, for example. What other patterns have you seen in ETF behavior?
It's honestly been such a fascinating kind of 10-day period. And every morning I log into my system and we kind of run the script to see what ETF flow said the day before. What were investors actually doing with their mechanics of what they were buying and selling in the ETF world? And I have to say, I was surprised there was never any indication of panic or fear in the flows, not once. And so that tells me that there's still a bit of stability there, and they're kind of happy with the shakeout. Not happy, that's probably the wrong word. But we did see, I will say, they did see this flight to safety. So there was this movement towards safe haven trades. So that's T-bills, ultra short duration, gold. These funds saw inflows, but we also saw a significant amount of investors putting more money to work in the equity side of the picture, and again, that kind of index picture.
And just remind us, sorry, you touched on this at the start, XGD, the gold miner ETF. You've seen pretty decent flows into that one?
Seen decent flows in that one, and again, that is a bit of, I'd say, like performance chasing are going along. These have had a nice run. Gold's through 3,200, kind of all-time highs once again this week. So it's not surprising to see this kind of continued march of inflows, and it supports, I would say, the RBC Capital Markets house view on the sector as well.
Positive on gold.
Yes, correct.
Valerie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Valerie Grimba, Director of Global ETF Strategy at RBC Capital Markets.